All right, so I've got this Eberspacher Airtronic S2 D2L diesel heater. There's a lot of videos online about how to do routine maintenance, in this case, replacing the atomizer screen for the S2D2, but I'm not seeing any videos on how to do it for the S2D2L. The ECU steps for taking that off so that you can access the igniter and the atomizer screen are a little different with this version. So I just wanted to make this video to show that to anyone else that's having trouble. The first step is removing this inlet cap for the air intake by the fan. Then you're just going to loosen these two clips on either side and slide off this cover. Before we start unscrewing anything, we're going to want to make sure that the power is disconnected from the heater. So we're going to want to disconnect this wiring harness. You pull this tab right here out, and then it'll unplug like that. This is where the S2D2L starts to differentiate from the other instructional videos you'll find. Rather than there just being one screw here on the ECU, electronic control unit, there's actually three. There's one here, and then one in the back there. You're going to want a star-shaped bit here and go ahead and remove those three screws. Both of these cables for the glow pin and then all the control and power cables here are in a little cable routing. So to remove this from the ECU, I'm going to essentially need to slide these wires inwards to remove them from the routing. I got the glow pin power cables disconnected from the ECU. The next part's also going to be hard to see, but essentially you want to push down on that yellow lever to disconnect the actual ECU from what I guess this is called the control box, that gray part. Once we disconnect that, that whole piece can then detach from the ECU. Oh, there we go. That's much easier. If you pull this boot part out first, that's definitely the easier way to see what's going on here. All right, so we pull down on this yellow lever here. Theoretically, there we go. And then this gray piece should disconnect. Push it forward one more click carefully, and this whole piece slides off like this. And now this whole ECU is totally separate, and we're able to service the glow plug, given that this is all one piece now. So first, we want to pull this boot. We can use this socket with this slot that essentially allows you to pull the igniter out without damaging the wires. This will come with the kit that you get your atomizer screen from. So we slide this on top. Hold this in place so that it doesn't twist. There you go. And then should be able to hand turn this, but this is all going to spin like so. Till you can take the igniter out. That's what it looks like. So my igniter is looking a little dirty, not too bad. So I'm just going to clean it up a bit with a towel. If it's really bad, apparently you can use sandpaper. I don't think this looks too bad. We're now gonna need to replace the atomizer screen. Here is the brand new one. It'll be hard to see, but down in this hole here, you can see a lot of gunk buildup from diesel combustion. We're gonna need to loosen and then pull out that atomizer screen. Gonna use a pick to do that. Try to bend the atomizer screen inwards and then use needle nose pliers to pull it out. All right, so now that we've got the old glow pin out, there's a ventilation hole where all of the air that comes into the combustion chamber needs to go through this one little hole. So that is essentially right down inside the combustion chamber, right below the threads and facing this direction. So your kit should come with one of these 90-degree picks, and you essentially just push that pick inside until you feel that hole right underneath the threads, and just wiggle that around. Make sure it's going through, trying to clean any gunk out of that hole. All right, I think mine is in a lot worse condition than might be typical. I inherited this heater, and I don't think this screen has ever been serviced, and it's probably been running for like 6 years. So this is where we're at. Definitely taking some effort to kind of mangle this thing up and try to pull it out of here. All right, was finally able to pull the atomizer screen out. This is the old one next to the new one. Definitely makes sense that this would be causing issues. I found that this right angle pick was more helpful than the needle nose pliers. Actually, I could kind of push it in and then grab between the holes in the actual screen and pull it up that way. Now that the old screen is out of there, trying to remove as much of the soot as possible. So I take this little wire brush and just push that up and down inside the chamber, trying to remove as much of that soot as we can. Not sure how much of a difference this is making, but I'm hitting it with a vacuum. Try to pull that soot out that we freed up. All right, now we put our new atomizer screen on this installation tool. There's these 3 small welds. You want that facing inwards away from the ventilation hole. Place that right until it's snug, and then pull out the tool. There you go. You can see the new atomizer screen. And now we just reverse the process that we went through to take everything apart. We're gonna start by placing in the atomizer. Should be able to hand tighten. Where this won't hand tighten. So we go back to the socket tool. Make sure that's well seated. Can hand tighten a little more with the socket tool. Seems pretty well seated. Perfect. So now we can slide this boot back. There we go. We can reconnect the ECU. There we go. The wiring is back in the same guide slots as it was originally. You can slide this other boot back into place. You're going to push the ECU back onto those 3 pins. Here we go. And it will just be a matter of replacing the screws and the housing and the vent cover. It's looking good. And then we can slide this cover back into place. There you go. Make sure these clips pop down. There you go. And then the vent cover. Very last thing, reattach power cord. There you go. We should be good to go here. Okay, we are gonna set the heater to max and see what happens. Yeah, blowing nice and hot now. No smoke. All right, so I've been running this on high for 15 minutes now. No smoke at all coming out of the exhaust. For me in particular, at least, didn't need to take the whole heater apart, clean out the whole burner chamber. Just replacing the atomizer screen was enough to stop the smoking problem. Let me know if this helps. Thanks.